What's up, everyone? This is Christian Main here. I hope you all are having a great day. I'm continuing my I'm tired of playing the same old chords series. Today's lesson is going to be on secondary subdominants and secondary dominants. What are they? How do we use them? And all of that good stuff. So let's get right into it. A secondary subdominant and a secondary dominant are just the secondary dominant and dominant families to any chord other than one. So we're creating a secondary world for each its own entity. We're making each chord its own entity, its own kind of tonic, if you will. You know, it's not really a tonic, but it's acting as a tonic. So, for example, if I have a 3 minor, it's acting as a tonic here. And my subdominants to that are a 6, a sharp 4 minor 7, and a 1. So these are considered secondary subdominants because they're not the primary subdominants, which we have over here. They are secondary because they're only relative to the chord that it's being assigned to. And over here on the right side, I have a 7 chord, a sharp 2 diminished 7th chord, a 4-7 chord, and a 2-7 chord. These are the secondary dominants relative to our 3 minor. And so you're kind of taking each individual chord that's not a 1 and giving it its own set of secondary, its own set of subdominant and dominant families. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, as we already explained the relation to the 3 minor. Now, before I go too far into this, everything's in what we call fixed do. So meaning all the numbers that I'm giving you on here are relative to 1. So for example, if 1 is C, my 6 over here is going to be an A. Okay, so C, D, E, F, G, A. Okay, so everything over here is relative to 1. Everything on this board is relative to 1. Okay, so, but in order for us not to make this super complicated, I didn't want to write 4, 2 minor, flat 6, and the same 4 chords over here like we had over here. That would be a nightmare, first of all. You wouldn't want that. You would have to automatically know and translate it based off of making this a 1. You don't want that. That's terrible. So we just did everything in fixed do. All right, I've already explained the 3 minor, and hopefully we're on the same page. Oh, if you notice, there's this arrow here. In each one of the brackets, there's an arrow. The reason why is, remember in the first video, I told you that everything kind of works in harmony, going clockwise, okay? Well, when we start playing these as chord progressions, you're going to notice it's a lot smoother going from one of the subdominants to one of the secondary dominants and back to the chord. Now, you don't have to do that. You can literally just play a secondary dominant, go straight into your other chord, your choice, your world. Let's look at our 6th chord. Now, some of you are wondering, like, well, I thought 6 was a tonic. Yes, it is. And all of these can resolve into 6. But we also can make it our own little world as well and give it its own secondary sets of chords. So here we have a 2 and a 4. Obviously, we still have 2s and 4s here. But we also have a 7 minor 7 in the subdominant family over here in relative to 6. Secondary subdominant family. And the secondary dominant family, we have a 3-7, a sharp 5 diminished 7 chord, a flat 7 chord, and a 5-7 chord, which, the flat 7-7, 5-7 are already been explained over here. So that's going into the 6. I'm going to continue on to the 4 chord over here. For our secondary subdominants, we have a flat 7, a 5 minor 7, a flat 2 chord, okay? For our secondary dominants, we have a 1-7 chord, a 3 diminished 7 chord, a flat 5-7 chord, and a flat 3-7 chord, leading into the 4, okay? The secondary subdominants for 2 minor are going to be your 5, your 3 minor 7, and your flat 7. And your secondary dominants for this chord are going to be a 6-7, a sharp 1 diminished 7, a flat 3-7, and a 1-7. All right, let's go ahead and look at the flat 6 chord that we added in the last instructional video. For our secondary subdominants, we have a flat 2, a flat 7 minor 7, and a 3. For our secondary dominant chords, we have a flat 3-7, a 5 diminished 7, a 6-7 chord, and a flat 5-7. Okay? And moving on. Now, if you notice something, you're going to notice that some of these, you know, and again, this is part of the whole family, they're going to share characteristics. For example, I have a flat 3-7 in this dominant family as well. And, you know, I have a flat 5-7 in this dominant family as well, and also a flat 3-7 as well. And you're going to notice that quite often, that, you know, families kind of stick together, you know. So there's a reason why that's in its own world. Going over here to the dominant side of the world, we're going to our 5-7 chord, into our dominant 7 chord. Our subdominants for that, our secondary subdominants, are 1, 6 minor 7, and a flat 3. The dominant chords, or the secondary subdominant chords for that, are a 2-7, a sharp 4 diminished 7, a flat 6-7, and a 4-7, leading into our 5-7 chord. If you notice, we don't have anything on diminished. You can use the same principle if you want to on a 7 chord. You can do that. But I don't like leading into a diminished chord. It doesn't resolve, first of all. And the whole point of this is to build a secondary dominance cadence so we can lead into another chord smoothly. And going into a diminished chord or a half diminished 7 chord is not my idea of a good time. And if you want to do it, go for it. It's your world. Use the same principle that I just told you about, but we're not doing it here. Now, going into a flat 7-7, we will do. And here, for the secondary subdominant, is a flat 3, a 1 minor 7, and a flat 5 chord. So that's a flat 3, 1 minor 7, flat 5 for the secondary subdominant. For our dominant, secondary dominant, it's going to be a 4-7, a 6 diminished 7, a 7-7, and a flat 6-7. And again, we're sharing characteristics here: flat 3, 4-7, flat 6-7. You're going to see things being shared here. Our flat 2-7 chord, okay, it's for a subdominant, is a flat 5, a flat 3 minor 7, a flat 7, okay. For its dominant, secondary dominant, it's a flat 6-7, a 1 diminished 7th, a 2-7, okay, and a 7-7 chord, okay. And again, you can go and you can start looking at parallels. You know, the 3 minor and the 2-7 have similar secondary dominants, you know, with the 2-7 and the 7-7. The worlds blend together. There's so many options there. And I understand that was a lot of information. I'm going to try to attach a PDF. I'm not computer savvy at all or video savvy at all. I'm going to try to attach a PDF to this video so you don't have to try to remember all this. But if you will, just if I am not able to, please go ahead and take notes and watch the video again. Because when we start playing these in the next video, you're going to need them. Because, again, I'm going to write them all out. And I'm going to try to get through it as quickly but as efficiently as possible. And to where you don't miss a step. And so, again, all a secondary subdominant and all a secondary dominant is creating subdominant and dominant families going towards other chords that are not 1. So assigning them to their own individual chords other than 1. Again, you can do it for the 7 chord if you want to. I'm not doing that. I don't think it's necessary. So until next time, y'all stay safe, keep on playing, and I'll see you then.